Good afternoon, and thank you for coming. I'd like to announce that the Kern County District Attorney's Office has filed murder charges in a case that has held significant public attention. The victim in this case is Micah Holsenbeek. He's one of the Bakersfield three, one of three people that was killed or went missing about 2 years ago. 2 people have been charged with his murder. The charges in this case include murder, kidnapping, and torture. My office has filed charges against Matthew Queen and Baylee Despot. Matthew Queen is currently in the Kern County Jail, and Ms. Despot's whereabouts are unaccounted for. She is also known as one of the Bakersfield three. This complaint that we have filed alleges 34 counts. The dates involved are December of 2017 through July of 2019. The charges involve murder, conspiracy to commit murder, torture, kidnapping, threats, manufacture of assault weapons, and other weapons charges. Counts 1 through 5 deal with the murder of Micah Holsenbeek. Count 1 is murder. Count 2 is conspiracy to commit murder. Now, a conspiracy is an agreement with 2 or more people plus an overt act done in furtherance of the conspiracy. The overt acts in this case charged with conspiracy to commit murder are spelled out here for you. They're spelled out in the complaint as well. And they are as follows: that Matthew Queen asked to use Matthew Vandecasteel's detached garage at 3029 North Half Moon Drive to extract information from Micah Holsenbeek. 2, that Matthew Queen and Baylee Despot arrived at 3029 North Half Moon Drive with Micah Holsenbeek. 3, that Matthew Queen and or Baylee Despot placed zip ties on Micah Holsenbeek's arms. And 4, Baylee Despot entered into the apartment at 3029 North Half Moon Drive and procured a knife. And 5, Matthew Queen and or Matthew Vandecasteel researched how to dissolve a human body. That is count 2, conspiracy to commit murder. Count 3 is torture. Count 4 is conspiracy to commit torture. And those counts are charged against Matthew Queen and Baylee Despot. Count 5 charges the kidnap of Matthew Queen, and that is charged against Mr. Queen, Mr. Despot, Ms. Despot, and Mr. Vandecasteel. The kidnap of Mr. Holsenbeek. Now, the remaining counts, that is counts 6 through 12, are against Matthew Queen only. And those do not relate to the Holsenbeek case. They relate to assaults against other victims. These victims are Megan Farmer, Shane Buchanan, and Caleb Seiler. Counts 13 through 34 involve various charges, mostly charged against Matthew Queen, but some against Baylee Despot, as well as Matthew Vandecasteel. Now, there is a conspiracy to manufacture assault weapons. That's what 182-3066-600 is. And the conspirators are Queen, Despot, Holsenbeek, and Vandecasteel. You can see one of our victim is alleged as a conspirator in this particular count. And here are the overt acts that are alleged in connection with this conspiracy count, which is conspiracy to manufacture assault weapons. I won't read them all, but the first one is that Matthew Queen possessed firearm milling equipment for the manufacture of assault weapons. And these are spelled out in the complaint. Matthew Queen faces the penalty of 50 years to life if convicted. Ms. Despot, if she is brought to justice and tried and convicted, faces a maximum of 25 to life, and Mr. Vandecasteel, who is charged in this case, faces 16 years. This prosecution was made possible by the combined efforts of the Bakersfield Police Department and the Kern County District Attorney's Office. Our dedication to solving this case never wavered. We want to remind the public that our mission is to never stop searching for answers on every homicide case that has occurred in Kern County. The prosecution in this case will be led by District Attorney Homicide Supervisor Eric Smith, who is here with me today. Also joining us today is Bakersfield Police Chief Greg Terry and Kern County District Attorney Bureau of Investigation Chief and former BPD Chief Lyle Martin. Chief Terry, is there anything that you would like to state?
Just briefly, thank you, Cindy. I just want to recognize the investigative team from both the police department and the district attorney's office and really thank them for their tenacity and hard work over these many months to work for this victim and the work that they do every day for all victims.
Thank you. Chief Martin? Nope. Eric? Okay. Thank you. There are copies of the criminal complaint for you. It's a very large document, but it spells out some of the things that you can look at in detail regarding the overt acts that describe the crime, a little bit about what happened. I want to remind everybody that the cornerstone of our criminal justice system is that all suspects and charged defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law beyond a reasonable doubt. As with any pending case, because it is pending, ethics prohibit me from going into too much more detail than I have given you now. This is about as much as I can tell you. But do any of you have any questions that you would like to ask? Yes?
Do we assume that Baylee Despot then is alive and in hiding, or are we assuming that she is perhaps deceased?
We can't really presume anything. There's information both ways. She is unaccounted for. And because she is unaccounted for and not declared deceased, she has been charged as a criminal defendant in this case. Yes?
I'm just curious what the conversation with the moms of the Bakersfield crew was like. We know they have been very involved with this case and helped the county in several ways, including the secret witness fund, the sonar that was announced this morning. I can't imagine that was an easy conversation.
We had a discussion with the mother of Mr. Holzenbeek and the mother of the charged defendant, Baylee Despot, this morning. And I don't really want to go into the details of how that went, but we talked to them about that, and they understand what's going on.
Do we know what the motive may have been, or what are you guys presuming? Why do you feel that she was involved in this?
Well, that's information that will be presented at the preliminary hearing. The next court hearing will be an arraignment, which should be fairly quick because Mr. Queen is in custody. And at the preliminary hearing, the motive will be established.
And has Matthew Queen been presented any plea deals to admit to this?
Matthew Queen is represented by a lawyer, and we would have no direct contact with him. He is in custody and charged with offenses that we have actually, some of them are some of the same offenses here, that we have combined into one big case. Yes?
Is there any update then on the case of missing woman, Baylee Despot?
We will never stop searching for answers on any homicide case or missing person.
Can you give us a narrative kind of the sequence of events that led up to the murders? There's lots of people and lots of dates and lots of crimes here.
You know, I can't go into details about that as far as you can look at the complaint itself and look at the chronological order of some of the counts that deal with weapons and that kind of thing. That might give you some idea. The overt acts that we have alleged in connection with the conspiracy help with the facts a bit, but until the preliminary hearing, or if you go over and choose to look at the police reports that are filed with the court. Those are ways that you can determine what the facts of the cases are. But I am prohibited by ethics established for attorneys to go in I can't go into that.
I had a question about James Halstead as the third of the Bakersfield three. Do you believe that he is part of this situation here? Do you believe he's part of that his disappearance is linked to this some way?
We have no evidence that we're going to be able to show that they are linked.
And could you also, you had said in the beginning that the dates involved, could you repeat those again? Was it December 2016 to July 2017?
All the counts, there are 34 counts, and some of the counts begin in December, some of the weapons counts and the earlier counts. But March of 2018 are the dates, about the third week in March of 2018 are the dates that deal with counts 1 through 5, which are the homicide-related counts of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, kidnap, torture.
Okay. And did you say Matthew Queen could potentially face 30 years to life?
50 years to life.
50, okay.
All right. Do you have any more questions?
Those booking mugs you showed, will they be available, or do we just take pictures off the screen?
Does it work out better for you if you have the electronic copy?
It reproduces better than taking pictures
We'll
of pictures.
try to get those for you then.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Did you have another question?
Yeah, just to get back to the case of Baylee Despot and her disappearance, is it going to be necessary that she be declared deceased or found dead before there is any movement on any sort of explanation in her case?
Well, we'll have to determine that that's a police matter, and that's something that will come down the road. But, of course, as far as this prosecution, which I'm in charge of, this prosecution, which he is a named defendant, obviously we can't move forward on that unless she is found and brought to court.
Are you guys considering, obviously this is a law enforcement issue, but we have someone in the room who's been very close to this case in another department, and both agencies work together. So essentially my question is, what are the efforts going to become, or are going to go forward in order to track down this now murder suspect, convicted, not convicted person, but a person who's now, of interest in this case? What's going to
Well,
go
the
into
Bakersfield Police Department in this office will never stop looking for answers about what happened to Baylee Despot, whether she is a killer on the run or someone that was killed herself. We are looking for the answers to that question, and we will continue to pursue that.
I have a question about the counts 13 through 34. Can you elaborate at all on what that relates to? It sounds like maybe it could be some kind of, manufacturing of firearms and selling them or something to that effect.
Possession and manufacturing of assault rifles.
And we're all, because you mentioned that Micah Olsenbake was charged in some of those as well.
He wasn't charged, but he was charged as a conspirator.
Okay.
An uncharged conspirator. A conspiracy is an agreement between two or more people to commit a crime.
Okay.
And so he was one of the persons that we have alleged was involved in that, and we call him an uncharged conspirator.
Okay, so
he
he
won't
show up as being charged in the...
Well,
anywhere.
no, he's our victim.
Right.
He's
Okay.
not going to be charged.
And did, I'm sorry, were those counts 13 through 34, was Baylee Despot or third Vander Castile, were they charged in
In
those
just a
as
few
well?
of those, yes, they were. Like in the conspiracy to manufacture assault weapons, they were both charged in that. But the majority of them are against Mr. Queen.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
I may have missed this. Was Mr. Van Castile, has he been taken into custody?
Not yet. He is in custody in another jurisdiction, so we know where he is.
Can you say how Mr. Olsenbake died?
That's facts that I think are better left for the preliminary hearing. Very good. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate your interest in this case. Thank you, Chiefs. Mr. Smith.